Good morning, everybody. It is March 20th, 2021. And today, for my weekly vlog or video diary, I don't know, uh, videos about me telling you stories about the times I've been in bands and just my history with music so far. Not done yet, but I've been at it for about almost 20 years since I was a prepubescent boy of 18. And I told last week the story of the first time I got on stage with guitar. Today I'm going to tell you about the first time I got on stage to sing. Now, I can't really remember the exact moment, but I do remember like key elements of the times I actually got on stage to belt out some unharmonious chords out of my the lowest hole on my face. So, I had mentioned that I kind of snuck my way into the one of my cousin's bands to play guitar. I did exactly the same thing with another band my cousin was in, Abraham. He was singing in that band, and they would get together once a week to rehearse in this open garage, and a bunch of great guys. Can't remember all their names, but I think it was Ruby, Moxie, a couple of other guys, Chan, and it was a cover band. But as the other one was a Metallica cover band, this was like a more variety focused cover band. And I went to go see them. And, you know, as I said, working with like everybody was working with like 15, 20 watt amps. The drums were like right outside, so the whole neighborhood could hear it. They got the cops called on them a couple of times. Nothing major, but just like the cops coming to say, hey, you know, turn that shit down. And I was just there, vibing, watching them play. And they were pretty good. But as luck would have it, they also played the song, what was it? It was Linkin Park in the End. In the End by Linkin Park. And it had that hip hop section in it, that rapping from Mike Shinoda. And luck behold, and I was there. Lucky for me, I speak English fluently. And mind you, I was in Aguascalientes, Mexico at the time, as I still am right now. And they said, hey, you want to sing that song? I was like, yeah, sure. So I learned the parts. And I would go practice with them. And then I would just kind of help out with the choruses as well. So I was like the backup singer. Would have been fun to be a backup dancer too, but I don't have the legs for it. But I would basically just do backup singing. And the songs were like In the End by Linkin Park, Pull Me Under by Finger Eleven, Creep by Radiohead. What's another one we used to play? Last Resort, Papa Roach. I mean, this was the early 2000s, I think. So that's what was pretty much blowing up, or had already blown up, but still was popular here in Mexico. And I was able to basically weasel my way into that band. The name of the band was Six Pack because there was six of us. Yeah, we were very original with our names back in the day. And so I do remember one time specifically that we played at this like house party, and we played in the garage of the house party. Again, we played in a lot of garages. I wanted to. Oh yeah, and we played Toxicity from System of a Down, and also Chop Suey. So I wanted to look like badass. And mind you, this was the early 2000s. Nobody looks badass in the early 2000s, but I was trying to look like it was. Especially with the fact that I weighed like 90 pounds or something. I don't know. And so I put on this, one of those long sleeve baseball shirts, you know, the undershirts that they use in baseball, but it was cut from the sleeve. So my arms, my spaghetti arms were exposed. And then I had like baggy pants, spiky hair, you know, because that was the thing, like really, really gelled up spiky hair. You know, that type of hair that it just breaks off if you put too much in it. And for God knows what reason, I was wearing dress shoes with that whole ensemble. So, cut off baseball shirt, spiky hair. Oh, and then with a Sharpie, like a half used Sharpie that wasn't even marking correctly anymore, I wrote SOAD on my chest, on my shirt, which is System of a Down. Looked terrible, looked awful. Like, not even in a ironic, we weren't in the post ironic shirt wearing phase yet. But boy, did I feel like I looked like a badass. And so we started playing, and again, people just stared at us. Uh, there wasn't any moshing. There wasn't enough people to mosh. Uh, but there was enough people at the party that a lot of them just stared at us, like in awe of us just playing there, because it wasn't that common to be. I think it wasn't that actually common to get bands to play at house parties back in the day, and plus, there was no equalizing. There was no you know leveling out everything. So we would play, and it would just basically ring out from the house, and obviously you get noise complaints, and then we'd only play for like 30 minutes. And we felt stoked. We were like, yeah, we did this. We even played at like a couple of kids' birthday parties. We played at um what was it? This one time we played like at this house party, like out in the outskirts of town. Nobody watched us. Like they invited us to go play, but when we went to go play, I think everyone was just so shit drunk that they were all just inside the house. We were playing in the garage. Nobody was there, so we just basically went to the middle of nowhere and practiced outside at 10 p.m. And then the other first time I can remember of playing live was this only show I did with this one band that was only put together for this one like school event at this all girls high school. No, it wasn't an all girls high school, mostly girls. And my friend Chan asked me if I wanted, and Chan and Eric asked me if I wanted to sing, because it was a bunch of punk rock songs and pop punk. So I was just like, yeah. So we practiced the songs, and the name of the band, we had to come up with a band name like one day before the show. It was at a Catholic school, so it was run by nuns. And, we didn't do this on purpose, but it was hilarious. The name of the band, we called it Pornotopia. Pornotopia. And so once we played, a nun like emceed us in. That was hilarious. A nun was like the one that basically announced us before we played. And so you had a nun saying, "Y con ustedes, Pornotopia." It was, and I remember distinctly there was a couple of chuckles in the crowd just because they heard a nun say porno. And we were there, and my friend Pollo, Sergio, he was doing the equalizing for us. Like we actually had a soundboard that time. We were so happy. And he put the soundboard behind the drummer, so it kind of looked like he was DJing. So he had the headset on, and he had the jacket like zipped up all the way up to the neck. And so it kind of gave the vibe that he was DJing. So I thought that was kind of cool. Like he was up there DJing. And we played Shinobi versus Dragon Ninja from the now disgraced Lost Prophets. Horrible story. If you're curious what happened to that band, it's a very disturbing story. We played a couple of no effects songs. I think it was called Billy Collin or something. We played Toxicity. We played First Date by Blink-182. That was really great. But I did the singing for all of it. And boy, was I nervous. In hindsight, there was no recording of the show, thank God. Because everybody else in the band was actually really good. And for basically only rehearsing like 3 times before the actual show, we sounded pretty good. And so, well, they sounded pretty good. I sounded like I was... The reason they invited me was, one, because I didn't have that awful of a voice, but also because I spoke English fluently. And so, like, yeah, why not? And... yeah, I ripped through my vocal cords. I sounded like off key in some. Some I sounded pretty good, but like the rest of the band sounded great. I sounded awful. And but still, it was a band playing at a high school, so that was the first interaction I had with people actually like liking what we did, and even like a girl came up to me. I was like 18, I think, when that happened. I was so excited. Like a girl came up to me after a show, so I was just like, "Whoa, this is that rock star life." Nothing happened of it, sadly, because I had a hard time communicating with women at the age of 18, with anybody to be honest. But it was just great to have that whole experience. But I have to say, I loved playing First Date because I could actually kind of nail. I think it was Tom DeLonge's voice. So it's not as whiny as Tom DeLonge's, but I could do that then. So it sounded really good. I was really happy with that. And I was, shaking. I was nervous. I was sweating like a pig. I can't remember what I was wearing that day, but I'm sure it was equally as ridiculous as the other thing I was wearing. But yeah, so those like the first times I actually got into singing. So I already told you about the guitar, the singing. So next episode, this one went on a little longer than it should have. Next time, I'll start telling about the beginnings of the band I was the longest in, and one of my favorite experiences in music with my band Tequila Speedway. And so I'll talk about that next week. So, if the two people that are watching this, thanks, Mom and Dad. I'll see you next week. So, have a nice weekend, everybody. Bye bye. Spaghetti arms. The Muppet look. You know how the Muppets look in Sesame Street? Like, ah! Bye.